The Great Pyramid of Giza still points precisely to true north after thousands of years. Ancient builders across the globe achieved this celestial precision without any of our modern technology, using only the stars as their guide. By the end of this journey, you will understand the forgotten language of the cosmos, the one our ancestors used to design monuments that stand in perfect alignment with the heavens to this day. We will uncover how a pyramid's shafts locked onto a specific star and why a serpent of shadow appears on a temple staircase only during the equinox. The stones they left behind are more than just ruins. They are a permanent record of human ingenuity. What does it mean to build something meant to last for eternity? A modern astronomer stands beneath a blanket of stars, tracing the same constellations that ancient eyes once mapped onto the Earth. The distance between them collapses in that shared gaze. This is the heart of archaeoastronomy, a field that bridges worlds by asking how ancient cultures understood the sky and wove that knowledge into their very foundations. Renowned researcher Anthony Aveni described the sky as a critical part of the cosmological landscape, a vast canvas where people found their place in the universe. This discipline blends archaeology, anthropology, and astronomy to read the stories written in stone and shadow. Its key principles involve pinpointing the solstices, where the sun seems to stand still at the year's extremes, tracking the moon's rhythmic cycles, and recognizing the star patterns that held profound cultural meaning. For many societies, specific stars were not just points of light, they were deities, ancestors, or animal spirits. This celestial connection directly influenced where a temple was placed or how a tomb was aligned. A monument becomes far more than a pile of rocks when you see it as a physical echo of the cosmos. If we were to design our own structures today to reflect our deepest beliefs, what would they look like? With this cosmic blueprint in mind, we can now journey to specific sites and see how this knowledge was set in stone. That perfect line of 3 stars in the desert sky finds its earthly reflection in the 3 great pyramids of Giza. This alignment is no simple coincidence. The Great Pyramid itself is a masterpiece of celestial engineering. Its 4 sides align to the cardinal directions with an accuracy that defies simple explanation. Its northern face points to true north with an error of just a fraction of a single degree, a feat that would challenge modern builders even with advanced tools. But the celestial connections run far deeper than the horizon. The controversial but fascinating Orion correlation theory, proposed by researcher Robert Bovell, posits that the layout of the 3 main pyramids mirrors the 3 stars of Orion's belt as they would have appeared in the night sky around 10,500 BCE. This stellar map is embedded within the very stone. The pyramid's descending passages were precisely angled to target the pole star of that distant era, a star known as Alpha Draconis. Meanwhile, narrow shafts leading from the king's and queen's chambers were not for air, but for starlight, pointing directly toward the important stars Sirius and the belt of Orion. For the ancient Egyptians, these stars were not random points of light. Orion was linked to Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife, while the brilliant star Sirius represented Isis, the goddess of magic and healing. By aligning their pharaoh's eternal resting place with these celestial beings, they were weaving their deepest spiritual beliefs into the architecture, creating a machine for resurrection that connected the earthly ruler directly with the cosmic cycle of death and renewal. This celestial mirroring served a dual purpose. It provided a practical, unchangeable clock in the heavens for marking seasons and time, while also fulfilling a profound religious need to anchor their civilization within the cosmos itself. The pyramid thus becomes a permanent prayer in stone, its angles and chambers holding secrets we are still deciphering. What other cosmic codes might be waiting within its geometric perfection? As we move from the sands of Egypt, we find this same celestial language written in stone across the world. The same celestial language spoken by the pyramids was also understood by the builders on the Salisbury Plain. Stonehenge stands as a silent, massive calendar carved from stone, its purpose etched into the very alignment of its pillars. Each year, as the summer solstice approaches, a remarkable event unfolds. From the center of the circle, the sun crests the horizon in perfect alignment with the outward heel stone, flooding the monument's heart with light. This was no accident. It was a meticulously engineered moment, a signal that the longest day had arrived. Come the winter solstice, the sun would set in the narrow gap between the tallest trilithons, marking the year's darkest point and the sun's symbolic rebirth. This was far more than a seasonal marker. It was the heartbeat of a society. Researchers like Gerald Hawkins proposed that the arrangement of stones could even track the more complex cycles of the moon, potentially predicting eclipses. The circle of pits known as the Aubrey holes may have served as a long-term lunar calendar, with markers moved from hole to hole over a cycle of many years to map the moon's subtle shifts. This deep knowledge of the skies allowed the community to synchronize their lives, knowing precisely when to plant, when to harvest, and when to gather for ceremonies that connected them to the cosmic order. The sheer effort of transporting and erecting these multi-ton stones with such celestial accuracy is a mystery that deepens its wonder. How did a society without written records design a monument that so perfectly captures the rhythm of the heavens? It speaks to a universal human drive to find order in the cosmos and to build structures that reflect that eternal cycle. This profound understanding of cyclical time, of death and rebirth written in the sun's yearly path, would find another stunning expression across the ocean. Across the ocean, a different serpent rises from stone to meet the sun. At Chichen Itza, the Grand Pyramid known as El Castillo stands as a testament to the Maya's celestial genius. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, as day and night hang in perfect balance, an extraordinary spectacle unfolds. The setting sun casts a series of triangular shadows along the northern staircase, connecting to form the undulating body of a massive, shadowy serpent that appears to slither down from the temple at the summit. This is the descent of Kukulkan, the feathered serpent god who brought knowledge and culture to the people. This illusion is no accident of nature. It is a meticulously calculated piece of architectural theater, a fusion of art and science that occurs with clockwork precision. The pyramid itself is a complex calendar in stone. Each of its 4 sides has 91 steps. When you add the final step of the top platform, you reach 365, a perfect representation of the solar year. Every level of the structure counts the days and the cycles that governed Maya life. Their astronomical observations reached far beyond the sun. The pyramid's orientation and the alignments of its windows and other structures are thought to track the complex movements of Venus. To the Maya, Venus was not just a bright star, it was a powerful deity associated with war and divine authority. By mapping the planet's cycles, which repeat every 584 days, they could predict its appearances in the dawn or evening sky. This knowledge was power, allowing rulers to schedule ceremonies and even military campaigns under a celestial banner that reinforced their sacred connection to the gods. The entire city was a physical model of their cosmos, where mythology and the movements of the heavens were permanently etched into the landscape. How many other celestial events, from eclipses to planetary conjunctions, did they encode into their sacred spaces? The sophistication of this pre-Columbian astronomy forces us to expand our understanding of what ancient science could achieve. It reveals a world where a pyramid was not just a building, but a living, breathing clock that told time in stories of gods and stars. For a civilization with no compass, the night sky offered one fixed point of pure certainty. At the very heart of the turning heavens, one star would remain nearly motionless, a pivot around which the entire cosmos appeared to spin. This was the pole star, the ultimate celestial anchor. Ancient mariners navigating vast, featureless oceans and builders raising monuments meant to stand for eternity relied on this singular, stationary guide to find true north. It was a constant in a universe of constant change, but this cosmic constant is itself a fleeting guest in the celestial throne. Due to a slow wobble in the Earth's rotation called precession, the title of pole star changes over a cycle of 26,000 years. The star we know as Polaris holds the position today, but when the Great Pyramid was being built, the pole star was a different light entirely, a star called Thuban in the constellation of Draco. The pyramid's builders targeted Thuban with stunning precision, aligning their massive construction to a star that has since drifted from its royal position. This reveals a profound understanding of a slowly shifting sky, an awareness that the very axis of the world was in gradual motion. How did they account for this drift in projects that spanned generations? The answer lies in the meticulous, long-term observation that allowed them to predict the slow dance of the heavens, embedding that foresight into stone. This celestial fixed point was more than a navigational aid. It was a profound symbol of cosmic order. In ancient China, the pole star was seen as the emperor of heaven, the unmoving center of the celestial bureaucracy around which all other stars, his loyal courtiers, dutifully revolved. This belief directly shaped their world, influencing the orientation of palaces and the planning of entire cities to mirror that heavenly hierarchy on Earth. The imperial throne faced south toward the sun, but the entire layout of the capital was oriented in relation to that unmoving northern pivot, creating a terrestrial reflection of the cosmic order. Across the Pacific, Polynesian voyagers undertaking some of humanity's most daring migrations used a mental map of the stars to guide their wooden canoes between tiny islands scattered across millions of square miles of open ocean. They did not rely on a single pole star but on star paths, memorizing the rising and setting points of key stars as they sailed. Their oral traditions and intricate stick charts encoded this knowledge, allowing them to read the sky as a living map. The pole star, or the concept of a celestial pivot, was a universal thread in human civilization, a shared tool for imposing order on the chaos of the natural world. This reliance on a celestial constant reaches its most breathtaking scale not in a single monument, but in the grand blueprint of an entire city, where streets and temples were laid out to mirror the very grid of the heavens. The stones themselves kept time for entire civilizations. Imagine a farmer in a prehistoric community, watching the first light of dawn strike a specific notch in a standing stone. That moment tells them the season is turning, the ground is ready for seeds, and the community must prepare for a festival of renewal. This was the profound practicality of celestial architecture. Monuments like stone circles and pyramids were not just spiritual centers, they were living calendars, their shadows and sunbeams marking the passage of a solar year, the rhythm of lunar months, and the turning of the seasons with unwavering reliability. In Ireland, the massive passage tomb of Newgrange, older than both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid, captures this symbolism perfectly. For a few precious minutes around the winter solstice, as the year reaches its darkest point, a single shaft of sunlight pierces through a specially designed roof box. It travels down a long, narrow passage to illuminate the inner burial chamber, flooding the ancient resting place with a golden light that would have symbolized the promise of rebirth and the beginning of a new annual cycle. This was more than a light show. It was a cosmic confirmation that the sun had been reborn. Across the ocean, high in the Andes, the Inca masterfully integrated this timekeeping into their sacred city. The Intihuatana stone at Machu Picchu, often called the hitching post of the sun, served as a precise solar clock. Its carefully carved angles cast shadows that marked the exact moments of the equinoxes and solstices. On these pivotal days, the sun would stand directly above the pillar, casting no shadow at all, a moment of perfect balance that tied the city directly to the cosmos. These structures provided a public, immutable way to measure time, a system essential for organizing agriculture, scheduling vital rituals, and maintaining the social fabric of the community. This knowledge was power, and it was often closely guarded by a priestly class who could read the sky's messages. Their ability to predict celestial events and declare the correct time for planting or celebration directly reinforced their political and spiritual authority. But this system was fragile. What happened when a calendar, through error or slow changes in the Earth's orbit, began to fall out of sync with the actual seasons? The consequences could be dire, leading to failed harvests and a loss of faith in the rulers who were supposed to mediate with the gods. This deep integration of time into stone demonstrates how astronomy was not an abstract science but a practical tool that sustained civilizations for generations. It prompts a deeper question: how did these alignments do more than mark time? How did they encode the very myths that gave a culture its identity? A temple is not just a building when its stones tell a story of a hero written in the stars. The celestial alignments we find in ancient monuments often served as the physical script for a culture's most cherished myths, turning abstract tales into an annual, participatory drama of light and shadow. In ancient Greece, the story of the nymph Callisto, transformed into the constellation Ursa Major, was more than a fable. Certain temples dedicated to the goddess Artemis, who was central to Callisto's myth, were oriented to capture the rising of this great bear in the northern sky. For a worshipper standing in that sacred space, the myth became real each time the stars appeared in alignment with the temple's axis, a direct and visible link to the divine narrative. This architectural storytelling was a global phenomenon. Across the world, in India, countless Hindu temples are precisely aligned so that on the day of a specific festival, the rays of the rising sun will illuminate the inner sanctum, falling directly upon the statue of a deity like Surya, the sun god. This annual event was not a secret but a public celebration. It transformed the entire community's experience, allowing them to witness the story of their gods unfold in real time, reinforcing their shared identity and connecting their daily lives to a grand cosmic order. These structures were cosmic diagrams built to make the intangible tangible. The alignment was the mechanism that allowed the myth to step out of the oral tradition and into the physical world year after year. This symbolic purpose adds a profound layer of meaning to the technical achievement. The precision was not merely for showing off engineering skill. It was a spiritual act, a form of permanent prayer intended to maintain the harmony between heaven and earth. If our modern skyscrapers and public squares were designed to reflect our most deeply held stories, what celestial events would they frame? This deep integration of belief and architecture required tools and methods just as ingenious as the visions they served. The same sky that inspired grand monuments also demanded simple, ingenious tools. An ancient astronomer had no laser rangefinders or digital star charts. only their eyes, their patience, and a few cleverly designed instruments. The most fundamental of these was the Gnomon, a simple stake driven into the ground. By meticulously tracking the length and direction of its shadow throughout the day and across the seasons, they could pinpoint the solstices, mark true north and south, and divide the year with remarkable precision. This humble shadow stick was in effect a portable observatory. In ancient Egypt, this principle was refined into the Merkhet, a forked sighting tool often used with a plumb line. An astronomer would use a pair of these instruments to sight specific stars as they crossed the meridian, the imaginary north-south line in the sky. This allowed for incredibly accurate alignments, like those found in the pyramids, by creating a precise terrestrial reference line that builders could follow. For tracking time through the night, they relied on water clocks, where the steady drip of water from one container to another measured passing hours independent of the sun. This combination of tools turned the vast, abstract sky into a measurable, manageable blueprint. How did they translate these observations into a plan that could guide construction for decades? The knowledge was a sacred trust, passed from master to apprentice through hands-on practice and oral tradition, blending direct empirical observation with generations of accumulated wisdom. This practical learning was the engine behind the celestial architecture, but some cultures took this data recording to another level entirely. The Babylonians, for instance, were meticulous archivists of the night. They recorded the movements of planets and the timing of eclipses on countless clay tablets, creating a database of celestial behavior that spanned centuries. By analyzing these long-term patterns, their scholars could begin to predict future events like lunar eclipses with growing confidence. This was not magic, it was the birth of computational astronomy, born from patient, systematic observation. The most stunning example of this technical sophistication is the Antikythera Mechanism, a complex Greek device of interlocking bronze gears recovered from an ancient shipwreck. Often called the world's first analog computer, it could predict planetary positions and lunar phases, and even forecast eclipses. While this particular device was exceptionally advanced, it proves that the conceptual leap from observing the sky to mechanically modeling its movements had been made. Yet for most monumental construction, simpler methods sufficed. Horizon astronomy was one of the most powerful and widespread techniques. A builder might carve a specific notch in a stone or use a natural feature on the distant horizon. When the sun or a key star rose or set directly into that notch, it signaled a specific day of the year with perfect reliability. This transformed the entire landscape into a vast, permanent calendar. The sheer ingenuity of these methods forces us to reconsider what technology really means. It was this fusion of simple, elegant tools with deep, long-term observation that allowed our ancestors to build with the stars, anchoring their world to the turning cosmos. Behind the grand monuments stood a secretive class of initiates, masters of a celestial language taught in secluded schools. In ancient Egypt, this knowledge was the exclusive domain of the priesthood, who spent nights in temple observatories tracking stars with instruments like the Merkhet. Their ability to announce the Nile's annual flood, a life-giving event tied to the star Sirius's first pre-dawn appearance, cemented their authority as mediators between the people and the gods. This was not just science, it was statecraft. The power to read the sky was the power to organize society, schedule harvests, and legitimize a pharaoh's divine right to rule. Across the world, the Maya had their daykeepers, priests who interpreted the complex cycles of their calendar, weaving together the movements of the sun, moon, and Venus into a single cosmic narrative. Their profound understanding is preserved in texts like the Dresden Codex, a fragile bark paper book filled with detailed tables that track the 584-day cycle of Venus with astonishing accuracy. This document represents centuries of unbroken observation, a sacred duty passed down through generations. How did they protect such complex data across so many lifetimes? They relied on powerful mnemonic systems, intricate oral traditions, and a writing system capable of recording precise mathematical calculations. In India, Vedic scholars composed hymns that encoded astronomical knowledge within spiritual poetry, ensuring its preservation through memorization long before it was ever written down. This knowledge was a form of capital, carefully guarded and selectively shared. In medieval Europe, the master masons who designed the great cathedrals operated within powerful guilds. They passed down geometrical secrets, and some researchers suggest esoteric astronomical alignments from apprentice to master, embedding cosmic principles into the very floor plans and stained glass windows of churches like Chartres. The loss of such specialized knowledge could be catastrophic. When a civilization faced upheaval, or when these elite schools were disbanded, the intricate understanding of celestial cycles could vanish in a single generation, leaving behind silent stones whose full meaning we can only guess at. This concentration of knowledge highlights a crucial social truth. The celestial alignments we admire today were often tools of political power, designed to awe the populace and reinforce the unchanging, God-given order of the world. A ruler dedicating a temple aligned with a kingly star was making a powerful political statement. It visibly linked their earthly reign to the unchanging cosmic order, a claim of divine endorsement written in stone and shadow for all to see. In ancient Mesopotamia, the great ziggurats were not just stairways to heaven, they were statements of power. These towering structures were often aligned with planets like Jupiter, which was associated with the supreme god Marduk. By connecting his temple to this celestial body, a king was demonstrating his unique, God-given right to rule, a right confirmed by the heavens themselves. This symbolic act turned astronomy into a sophisticated tool of statecraft. The Chinese concept of the mandate of heaven found its ultimate physical expression in city planning. The imperial capital was meticulously oriented to the unmoving pole star, the celestial emperor. This layout placed the earthly emperor at the literal center of his domain, the human anchor of a cosmic bureaucracy. His throne faced south toward the life-giving sun, but the entire city's axis pointed to that fixed northern star, reinforcing his role as the central pillar of the world. By controlling the calendar and presiding over public ceremonies tied to these celestial events, a ruler could unify a population under a shared cosmic narrative. The ability to predict an eclipse or announce the solstice was not just a scientific feat, it was a performance of divine favor, a way to legitimize authority and command obedience. But what happened when that cosmic endorsement was challenged? If the seasons turned out of sync with the royal calendar, or if a predicted eclipse failed to materialize, it could shatter the illusion of a leader's divine connection, leading to unrest and a potential loss of the mandate to rule. This political dimension reveals that these monuments were never just scientific observatories. They were ideological engines designed to awe, to control, and to perpetuate a specific world order. This merging of spiritual belief and political strategy raises a compelling question. How did different cultures, separated by vast oceans, arrive at such similar uses for celestial knowledge? Two master builders separated by an entire world might have found common ground in the stars above. One, from ancient China, saw the cosmos as a celestial bureaucracy, a model for earthly governance. The other, from the Maya world, viewed the heavens as a stage for divine drama. Their approaches reveal a fascinating divergence in how cultures interpreted the same night sky. Western traditions from Egypt to Europe often fixated on the sun's powerful journey and the wandering paths of planets. In the East, Chinese astronomy was deeply interwoven with the lunar cycle and the precise movements of star groups, all framed by philosophical systems like Feng Shui that sought harmony between human structures and the natural world. This principle guided the construction of the Forbidden City, its rigid north-south axis mirroring the cosmic order of the Pole Star Emperor, ensuring balance and stability for the entire empire. Across the Pacific, Mesoamerican cultures held a different celestial court in high esteem. For them, the planet Venus was a fearsome deity of war, and the tight cluster of the Pleiades stars held profound significance for their agricultural calendar and creation myths. These were not just lights to be mapped, but active characters in their stories, directly influencing the layout of their cities and the timing of their rituals. This shared impulse to build a reflection of the heavens points to a universal human quest for order. While we have little evidence of direct contact influencing these separate developments, the parallel conclusions are striking. It suggests that when any society looks up with sustained curiosity, they cannot help but bring that cosmic pattern down to Earth. This global tapestry of celestial wisdom leads us to a deeper puzzle. How did these builders, without a shared language or number system, translate the fluid motion of stars into the rigid, perfect angles of their monuments? The answer lies not in the stars themselves, but in the silent, relentless language of mathematics etched into the landscape. The same stars that guided their alignments also whispered the secrets of geometry. An ancient master builder kneeling in the sand would trace perfect circles and triangles, not as abstract shapes, but as sacred diagrams of cosmic order. The breathtaking precision we see in monuments across the globe rests upon a hidden foundation of sophisticated mathematics. These builders understood that to mirror the heavens on Earth, they needed to speak the silent, universal language of number and form. They discovered that certain mathematical ratios and geometric relationships held a special power, resonating with the proportions they observed in the natural world and the night sky. This was not merely engineering, it was a spiritual pursuit, an attempt to build divine harmony into the very fabric of their cities. One of the most practical and widespread tools was the simple knotted rope. In Egypt, surveyors used a cord with knots tied at equal intervals to create a perfect right angle on the ground. By stretching the rope into a triangle with sides of 3, 4, and 5 units, they invoked what we now call a Pythagorean triple, ensuring the square corners essential for a pyramid's flawless base. This humble tool, pulled taut in the desert sun, was the key to orienting a structure that would stand for millennia. Far across the world, Mayan mathematicians were performing calculations of another kind. Their architecture was deeply intertwined with the complex cycles of Venus, a planet they tracked with obsessive precision. The angles of their temple platforms and the placement of windows were not arbitrary. They were derived from calendrical math, ensuring that at specific points in Venus's 584-day cycle, the planet would appear in a precise alignment with a doorway or cast its light along a corridor. For them, these sacred proportions were a direct reflection of the gods' movements. This belief in divine geometry was a global constant. In ancient Greece, the Parthenon's majestic form was built around the golden ratio, a proportion believed to represent ultimate beauty and balance. Its dimensions carefully echo this irrational number, creating a visual harmony that feels instinctively right to the human eye. Scholars suggest these proportions were not just aesthetic choices, but were also meant to resonate with astronomical cycles, tying the temple to the cosmic order it honored. How did they perform these intricate calculations without our modern numerical notation? They relied on physical tools, geometric proofs, and a deep, intuitive understanding of spatial relationships passed down through generations. Their mathematics was a lived practice, etched into the land and tested against the unwavering clock of the sky. This mathematical foundation was so sound, so perfectly tuned, that it created alignments we can still verify with our most advanced instruments today. An archaeologist stands before a sprawling line in the Peruvian desert, a design so vast it can only be seen from the sky. The alignment points directly toward the solstice sunset, yet the method and the precise cultural meaning behind the Nazca lines remain just out of reach, a puzzle that challenges our modern assumptions about ancient capability. These are the enduring mysteries, the alignments that continue to baffle science. At Karnak in France, thousands of standing stones stretch for miles in parallel rows. Researchers have confirmed their orientation tracks the moon's most extreme rising and setting points, a cycle that takes over 18 years to complete. But the full purpose of this colossal lunar calendar is still debated. Was it a sacred observatory, a territorial marker, or something else entirely? The stones offer no written explanation, only their silent, imposing presence. In the American Southwest, a different kind of precision emerges from the rock. On Fajada Butte in New Mexico, 3 large stone slabs lean against a cliff face. On the summer solstice, a dagger of sunlight slices perfectly between them to strike a spiral petroglyph below. At the winter solstice, 2 daggers of light frame the same spiral. The creators of this sun dagger left behind no written records, only this elegant, light-based calendar etched into the landscape. Erosion has since shifted the slabs, altering the ancient display and reminding us how fragile this knowledge can be. These enigmas drive modern research forward. Scientists now use technologies like LiDAR, which can peer through dense forest canopies to reveal hidden structures and their celestial relationships. This technology has helped rediscover alignments in places like the ancient Maya city of Caracol, showing us that we have likely only scratched the surface of this ancient science. The true challenge is that ancient knowledge was often holistic. Astronomy was not a separate field but was woven seamlessly with geography, agriculture, mythology, and spirituality in a way that our specialized modern sciences struggle to reconstruct. We are trying to read a complex, integrated text with only a few surviving words. What crucial clues have been lost to time, or simply lie outside our current way of thinking? These persistent puzzles ensure the field of archaeoastronomy remains vibrantly dynamic, a constant reminder that our ancestors saw a world deeply interconnected, where the sky was not a distant void, but a living part of their daily existence. A lone astronomer in the 19th century waited through the night at a crumbling stone circle. His patience rewarded as the solstice sun broke the horizon in perfect alignment with an ancient pillar. This quiet moment of rediscovery marked the beginning of a scientific revolution. The field of archaeoastronomy was born from such dedicated fieldwork, with 20th century pioneers like Alexander Thom meticulously measuring hundreds of stone circles across Britain. He proposed that these sites were not crude monuments, but sophisticated observatories engineered with a common unit of measurement and an advanced understanding of the moon's complex 18-year cycle. His work challenged the long-held assumption that ancient people were merely primitive stargazers. For decades, these ideas were met with skepticism. How could cultures without writing achieve such precision? The answer arrived with technology that Thom himself could never have imagined. Satellite imagery now allows us to see alignments invisible from the ground, while powerful computer software can rewind the sky, calculating the exact position of stars and planets on any day in the distant past. Researchers used these digital tools to test the alignment of the Temple of Amun-Re at Karnak. the simulation revealed that in the year 2000 BCE, the axis of the temple would have framed the winter solstice sunrise perfectly, a confirmation that the ancient Egyptian architects had intentionally captured that pivotal moment of the solar year. This technological validation has systematically corrected earlier misconceptions, proving that what we once dismissed as myth or coincidence was, in fact, deliberate celestial engineering. Our entire perspective on ancient capabilities has been fundamentally upgraded. We now see them not as superstitious worshippers of the sky, but as meticulous scientists who used the heavens as their unchanging reference text. This bridge between past and present knowledge invites a profound question. In our modern world, flooded with artificial light and digital distractions, what practical wisdom have we lost by turning our backs on the stars? That same celestial wisdom that raised the pyramids now offers a blueprint for our own sustainable future. A contemporary architect does not need ancient tools to apply these age-old principles, only a renewed willingness to learn from the past. By orienting a modern building to capture the low winter sun for natural warmth while deflecting the high summer sun, we are engaging in the same passive solar design that the ancestral Puebloans, sometimes called the Anasazi, mastered 1,000 years ago. Their cliff dwellings in the American Southwest were carefully positioned to maximize solar gain during the cold months, turning stone walls into natural thermal batteries. This was not magic, it was a profound understanding of the sun's yearly dance, a knowledge set directly into the architecture. Today, this ancient logic is being rediscovered by green builders. Strategic window placement, overhanging eaves calculated for specific solar angles, and even light shelves that bounce daylight deep into a room all reduce our reliance on artificial climate control and electric lighting. The goal is the same, to live in harmony with natural cycles rather than fighting against them. Imagine a skylight designed not just for light, but as a modern calendar. A single beam of sunlight could travel across a floor throughout the year, marking the solstices and equinoxes for the building's occupants, reconnecting them to the rhythm of the seasons in their own home. This holistic approach to environmental integration addresses one of our greatest modern challenges, the high energy cost of keeping our interiors comfortable. By looking back to these celestial principles, we can dramatically reduce a building's carbon footprint while creating spaces that feel more attuned to the natural world, spaces that enhance human well-being through a connection to natural light and the passage of time. What if entire cities were planned with this cosmic mindfulness? Streets could be aligned to channel cooling summer breezes, and public squares designed to be flooded with light on the shortest day of the year, creating communal celebrations of the turning year. This is the timeless, practical relevance of archaeoastronomy. It shows us that the alignment of a structure is not merely a technical detail, but a philosophical choice about how we relate to our planet. This ancient focus on celestial patterns pushes us toward a more integrated, resilient design philosophy, one that sees a building not as a separate object, but as a dynamic participant in its environment. A temple built on Earth was a star chart made solid. For many ancient cultures, the universe was not a distant abstraction but a living system, and their greatest structures served as its physical model. This is cosmology written in stone. In the intricate traditions of Hindu temple architecture, the entire design process began with the Vastu Purusha mandala. This sacred diagram was more than a blueprint. It was a map of the cosmos, dividing the site into precise sectors, each one governed by a specific deity and aligned with the cardinal directions. The temple itself became a symbolic body for the cosmic being, with its central spire representing the world axis, the point of connection between the earthly realm and the heavens. This meticulous alignment was not merely symbolic, it was functional, guiding the placement of altars, the flow of ritual, and the very spiritual energy of the space. On a grander scale, the magnificent complex of Angkor Wat in Cambodia embodies this principle perfectly. Its vast layout is a breathtakingly literal representation of the Hindu universe. The 5 central towers symbolize the 5 peaks of Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods at the center of all creation. The surrounding moats are not just defensive features, they are the cosmic oceans that, in mythology, encircled the mountain. To walk through Angkor Wat was to traverse a model of the cosmos, an experience designed to connect the individual directly to the divine order. These structures made the intangible tangible. They transformed complex spiritual beliefs into a physical environment that could be seen, touched, and walked through, reinforcing a worldview where humanity, nature, and the cosmos were inextricably linked parts of a single harmonious whole. The alignment of a doorway or the height of a tower was a philosophical statement about humanity's place in that grand scheme. If our own cities were designed to physically manifest our deepest beliefs about the universe, what would their central monuments look like? This profound integration of belief and stone reveals that these alignments were far more than astronomical calculations. They were the bedrock of cultural identity. Yet this very bedrock now faces the slow erosion of time, raising urgent questions about how we protect a heritage written in both stone and light. A conservationist stands in a growing city's glow, watching as the same artificial light that powers modern life slowly bleaches the ancient stars from the sky. This light pollution is just one of the silent threats jeopardizing celestial alignments that have endured for millennia. The very sightlines that ancient builders so carefully established are being severed by new construction, while the stones themselves face erosion from increasingly severe weather linked to our changing climate. At Stonehenge, the profound experience of the solstice sunrise is now competed with by the visual noise of nearby roads and development, subtly altering the purity of an alignment that has held true for thousands of years. Meanwhile, on vulnerable coastlines and islands across the Pacific, rising sea levels and intensifying storms directly threaten sacred sites where Polynesian navigators once calibrated their star paths. The preservation of this heritage is a complex battle fought on multiple fronts. It involves establishing legal protections for archaeological sites, educating local communities about the irreplaceable value in their own backyards, and employing technology like 3-dimensional laser scanning to monitor the slightest shifts in a monument's position over time. This global effort highlights a painful irony. Our modern world, which can so precisely study these alignments, is also the very force putting them at greatest risk. What wisdom can we draw from indigenous stewardship practices, where knowledge of the stars and the sacredness of the land are often one and the same? Their long-term, intergenerational perspective reminds us that these are not relics to be simply looked at, but living connections to be actively maintained. The fragility of these stone calendars forces us to confront our own role as temporary guardians of a legacy that stretches far beyond our own lives. This urgent work to protect the past ultimately sharpens our appreciation for the enduring wonder these sites still spark in all who witness their celestial dance. That tangible link to the cosmos still draws crowds to ancient stones today. A family stands in the crisp morning air at Newgrange, huddled together as the first sliver of winter solstice sun pierces the inner darkness. In that shared, silent moment, something profound transcends the centuries. They are not just tourists viewing a ruin, they are participants in a ceremony of light that a forgotten community designed millennia ago. This emotional pull is the heart of their enduring appeal. These alignments offer a direct, unbroken thread back through human history, a chance to stand exactly where an ancestor stood and witness the same celestial event unfold with perfect, predictable grace. It is a humbling experience that quietly confronts our own sense of time and place in the universe. This wonder has transformed sites like Stonehenge and Chichen Itza into global pilgrimage points where the lines between tourism, personal spirituality, and scientific curiosity beautifully blur. Thousands gather not for a spectacle, but for a connection, drawn by a deep-seated need to touch something permanent in our fleeting modern world. Media and popular documentaries have amplified this fascination, bringing these cosmic events into our living rooms and inspiring a new wave of enthusiasts who see the night sky not as a void, but as a living storybook. How does this ancient knowledge ripple through contemporary culture? It surfaces in modern art installations that play with light and shadow, in architecture that seeks to reconnect us with natural cycles, and in community star parties that bring people together under the same constellations that guided the ancients. This widespread captivation proves these sites are far more than historical artifacts locked in the past. They are living traditions that continue to teach, inspire, and remind us of a universal human quest for meaning. This role as a bridge between eras makes them powerful classrooms without walls, a legacy of learning we will explore next. A digital reconstruction of a pyramid rotates slowly on a screen, its internal shafts glowing as they extend toward virtual stars. This is the new classroom where celestial alignments are transforming how we learn. The study of these ancient structures effortlessly bridges disciplines, allowing a student to grasp the geometry of a pyramid's base while also learning why its builders targeted a specific star. This is not just history or science in isolation. It is a unified story of human ingenuity. Hands-on activities make this connection powerful. A simple garden gnomon can demonstrate the shifting sun angles of the seasons, while free planetarium software lets anyone simulate the night sky over Giza thousands of years ago. These tangible exercises turn abstract astronomical principles into memorable, personal discoveries. Museums have embraced this potential with stunning, interactive exhibits. Visitors can virtually stand in the chamber of Newgrange as the solstice sunbeam illuminates the space, or manipulate a three-dimensional model of El Castillo to see how the Serpent of shadow is cast. These experiences do more than convey facts. They create a sense of wonder, making the past feel immediate and relevant. This interdisciplinary approach fosters a crucial form of critical thinking. It challenges the outdated notion that ancient cultures were primitive, revealing instead their sophisticated understanding of mathematics and the natural world. By appreciating the diverse ways different societies mapped the cosmos, students gain a deeper respect for global perspectives. How can these lessons promote global citizenship? They reveal a shared human heritage written in the stars, a common drive to find order and meaning in the universe that transcends modern borders. Integrating this ancient wisdom into modern curricula does more than just teach about the past. It equips the next generation with a more holistic, interconnected view of knowledge itself. This living educational legacy ensures the work of the ancient astronomers is not frozen in stone, but continues to inspire new minds. It invites us to ask what future discoveries await when we continue looking up with the same curiosity. A drone's electronic eye sweeps over a dense jungle canopy, seeing through the leaves to map the ground below with laser precision. This is LiDAR technology, and it is revolutionizing our search for celestial patterns by revealing entire cities and structures we never knew existed. In Cambodia, LiDAR scans uncovered a sprawling urban landscape around Angkor Wat, including causeways and temples that align with the solstice sun, proving the city's cosmic design was even more extensive than we imagined. Beyond the jungle, ground-penetrating radar peers into the Earth without ever breaking the surface, detecting buried stones or post holes that might mark a forgotten lunar observatory. These non-invasive tools are crucial, preserving the sacred integrity of sites while exponentially expanding the map of ancient astronomy. Artificial intelligence now sifts through vast datasets of celestial and archaeological information, identifying subtle alignment patterns that might take a human researcher a lifetime to notice. These digital tools allow us to simulate ancient skies with stunning accuracy, testing alignment theories against the precise star positions of 4,000 years ago from the comfort of a lab. What if we could monitor these global alignments in real time? Future projects envision a network of satellites specifically tasked with watching over the world's heritage sites, tracking how the solstice light falls on thousands of monuments simultaneously and alerting us to any shifts caused by environmental changes. This technological leap is turning archaeoastronomy from a speculative field into a rigorous, data-driven science. With these powerful new eyes, what undiscovered alignments, what lost celestial calendars, are still waiting beneath the sand or the forest floor? This forward momentum inevitably forces us to re-examine the past, to separate the compelling theories from the established facts and clear away the myths that have long clouded our view. A common myth suggests ancient wonders required otherworldly help, a claim that overlooks the very real genius of human ingenuity. While the celestial alignments at Giza or Chichen Itza are meticulously documented, not every claim of ancient astronomy holds up to scientific scrutiny. The idea that all pyramids across the globe share an identical stellar blueprint, for instance, ignores the distinct cultural and historical contexts of the Egyptians, the Maya, and the Mesopotamians. Each civilization looked to the sky with its own questions and built its answers according to a unique worldview. Critical analysis is our most valuable tool for separating credible alignments from speculative fiction. Take the infamous face on Mars, a natural geological formation that, from a certain angle and under specific lighting, can resemble a human face. This pareidolia, our brain's tendency to find familiar patterns, has no basis in alignment science and has been thoroughly debunked by high-resolution orbital imagery. In contrast, the alignment of the Great Pyramid's air shafts with stars like Sirius and Orion is supported by both archaeological evidence and precise astronomical modeling. This process of myth-busting is not about dismissing wonder, but about redirecting it toward the truly astounding realities. The real story of how cultures from Britain to Cambodia encoded their cosmos in stone is far more compelling than any fictional intervention. How do these misconceptions affect our understanding? They can create a distorted narrative that steals credit from the actual builders, the countless skilled artisans and astronomers whose patient observation and brilliant engineering achieved the impossible. By clearing away the fog of speculation, we can see their accomplishments with greater clarity and respect. Their legacy is not one of mystery for mystery's sake, but of a profound and hard-won knowledge, a testament to what human minds can achieve when they carefully study the world around them. A name is carefully carved into a hidden stone deep inside the Great Pyramid. It reads, "The Friends of Khufu." This simple piece of graffiti is a powerful echo across 45 centuries, a fleeting signature left by the very hands that raised the monument. These were not anonymous slaves of legend, but skilled artisans and laborers who lived in a sprawling, organized village just south of the Pyramid Plateau. Archaeological excavations reveal bakeries, hospitals, and even fish imported from the Nile Delta, evidence of a community that was fed, housed, and cared for in return for their sacred work. Their daily reality was a blend of immense physical effort and profound spiritual purpose, At Stonehenge, the story is told in the stones themselves. The precise tool marks found on the sarcens speak of generations of stoneworkers honing their craft, passing down techniques for shaping and joining multi-ton rocks with an almost impossible precision. How did they see their own role in this cosmic project? For many, this labor was likely a form of devotion, a direct service to the gods or ancestors that secured their place in the cosmic order. The balance between the grueling, practical need to move a 80-ton stone and the visionary goal of capturing a solstice sunrise was likely bridged by belief. The work was not just a job, it was a collective ritual, a shared endeavor that united an entire society under a common celestial banner. This human element adds a crucial layer of meaning to the alignments we study. The perfect north-south orientation of a pyramid is not just an engineering marvel. It is the cumulative result of thousands of individual decisions, of ropes pulled taut, of shadows measured, of stones painstakingly leveled by people who believed they were building a gateway to the stars for their divine king. Their personal pride is etched into the monuments as surely as the astronomical alignments, reminding us that these cosmic mirrors were raised by communities with families, with social hierarchies, and with a deep, personal investment in the legacy they were creating. This tangible connection to the builders themselves makes their celestial achievements even more resonant, for it reveals a universal human drive to leave a permanent mark, to weave our own stories into the very fabric of the universe. A single standing stone in a remote field might seem like just a rock to an archaeologist. To an astronomer, its position could mark a solstice sunrise. To an anthropologist, it holds the story of the community that raised it. The true power of archaeoastronomy emerges when these distinct fields converge, their combined lenses revealing a picture no single discipline could see alone. An astronomer can run complex software to rewind the sky, calculating the exact position of the stars on a specific night 3,000 years ago. An archaeologist, carefully brushing away soil, uncovers the post holes and pottery shards that date the site and hint at its daily use. The anthropologist then weaves these threads together, drawing from oral histories and comparative mythology to interpret why that particular celestial moment was so culturally vital. This synergy transforms a silent alignment into a living story. In the American Southwest, the great houses of Choco Canyon stand as a prime example. For years, their purpose was debated. Then, interdisciplinary teams went to work. Astronomers confirmed that certain walls and windows aligned with the moon's extreme northern and southern rising points, an 18.6-year cycle known as the lunar standstill. Archaeologists mapped the extensive road network connecting these sites, while anthropologists studied Pueblo oral traditions that still speak of the moon's significance in their cosmology. The result was a breakthrough. Choco was not just a settlement, but a ceremonial center where architecture, astronomy, and spiritual belief were fused into a single expression of cosmic order. This collaborative model offers a powerful blueprint for tackling modern challenges, from climate science to public health. How do we solve complex problems that defy simple, single-field answers? We build bridges between specialties, recognizing that the most complete understanding often lies at the intersections. By learning to speak each other's languages and valuing different forms of evidence, we can assemble a richer, more holistic view of our world, both past and present. This integrated approach does more than solve historical puzzles. It fundamentally reshapes our shared heritage, revealing a common human impulse to connect earth and sky. That graffiti signature inside the pyramid is just one of countless human echoes resonating across a global network of sacred sites. These celestial alignments are not isolated wonders but chapters in a single, universal story of human curiosity. Recognizing this profound connection, organizations like UNESCO have begun to designate entire networks of these sites as World Heritage, protecting them not just for individual nations, but as a shared legacy for all of humanity. This formal acknowledgement underscores a beautiful truth: from the sun temples of Egypt to the star compasses of Polynesian navigators and the lunar observatories of Britain, we find the same fundamental impulse. Different cultures, separated by continents and oceans, all looked up at the same night sky and felt compelled to bring its order down to Earth. This independent convergence of insight is a powerful testament to a shared human drive. It suggests that the quest to find our place in the cosmos is as fundamental to the human experience as language or art. International preservation efforts now embody this spirit of unity. Scientists, historians, and local communities collaborate across borders, sharing technology and traditional knowledge to protect these fragile connections to the past. This cooperative work does more than save stones from erosion. It builds bridges of mutual respect and understanding in the present, fostering a unique form of peace built on shared historical appreciation. These sites stand as permanent reminders that our ancestors, no matter their differences, were all participating in the same grand, cosmic conversation. They challenge the modern divisions of our world, highlighting a deep, underlying interconnectedness that binds us to each other and to the universe itself. How can this legacy, written in aligned stone and shadow, inspire the generations who will follow us? It offers a timeless lesson in humility and wonder, a common ground that transcends culture and creed. This universal perspective naturally leads us to a final, personal question, one that brings this entire cosmic journey home. Standing beneath those ancient stones and looking up, you are seeing the same constellations that the builders saw. This moment of connection collapses the distance of centuries. It invites a quiet but profound reflection on our own place within the vast cosmos. In our modern world of constant notifications and artificial light, we often feel disconnected from the natural rhythms that guided human life for thousands of years. These celestial alignments offer a powerful antidote to that fragmentation. They remind us that we are participants in an orderly, magnificent system, not separate from it. This perspective fosters a deep sense of humility, the understanding that our time is brief, and a profound wonder at the enduring cycles of the universe. That humility is not about feeling small, but about feeling connected to something truly grand. How might your own outlook shift if you pause to note the phase of the moon or the path of the setting sun? This is not about abandoning modern life, but about weaving threads of cosmic awareness back into it. It could be as simple as noticing which constellations are visible from your window, or aligning a morning walk with the sunrise. These small acts can ground us, providing a sense of stability and perspective amidst the chaos of daily life. The ancient builders showed us that our creations, from our homes to our communities, can reflect a deeper harmony with the world around us. Their legacy challenges us to consider what we are building and what story our own structures will tell future generations about what we valued. This shared celestial heritage also highlights a beautiful duality, the incredible diversity of human culture alongside our universal quest for meaning. Every culture saw different patterns and told different stories in the stars, yet they all shared the same fundamental drive to map their existence onto the heavens. This journey through time and stone brings us to a final point of convergence, where all these threads of human ingenuity, celestial precision, and timeless wonder weave together into a single, enduring insight. From the sands of Egypt to the jungles of Cambodia, our journey has traced the stars that guided ancient hands. We have seen how the precise science of archaeoastronomy uncovers a timeless human impulse, a drive to build earthly reflections of the cosmic order. These perfect alignments are more than just feats of engineering. They are profound statements about innovation, cultural values, and our enduring search for meaning in the vast universe. Each stone placed in relation to a star was a declaration that humanity belonged to a grander, harmonious system. The next time you find yourself beneath a blanket of stars, remember you are looking at the very same celestial clock that told a Maya priest when to plant, guided an Egyptian architect to true north, and signaled a Celtic community to gather for the solstice. That cosmic conversation is still ongoing. I invite you to become part of it. Seek out a local stone circle or an ancient mound, or simply step into your backyard and trace the constellations with a fresh perspective. Let me know what you discover in the comments below. If this exploration of cosmic connections has sparked your curiosity, subscribe to continue unraveling history's greatest mysteries with us. Thank you for sharing this journey, and may your own path always be guided by the same sense of wonder that aligned these eternal wonders with the heavens.